Yahoo! And we're out of the... We're out of the maelstrom. Guys, we made it. We're at light speed. We're back on. Thank you guys for all being patient with us. We've had a little bit of technical problems, but thank you, MVP for the night, Earl. Earl's come to the rescue. Huzzah. Welcome, you're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy, Pod's pirate standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer, standing by.
LEXI, Padawan, standing by.
Like, so cool.
I'm the one that always gets blown up. If you don't care, like, guaranteed, you know what I mean? I don't know why I marked myself with that.
All ships into attack formation, mission objectives to talk about the full scope of the Star Wars experience from the movies, TV shows, animation, games, comics, books, themed experiences, merchandise, and your art and inspiration from the galaxy far, far away. In today's flight plan includes the Essential Ahsoka Part 2, the Onderon arc. But before we get to that, we have a special guest, our first guest interview, Molly McIsaac. And for all of you out there, all comm channels open, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us on YouTube, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. I am your squad leader today. I'm Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, fight choreographer. On my wing is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, blogger, social media person, semi-occasional sort of cosplayer person.
And on my other wing is LEXI.
Art department gremlin, end-of-life doula in training, and multiple fandom connoisseur.
Ooh.
And we are just one squad in the fleet. We are part of the Geekish network. That's on twitch.tv/Geekish network. And don't forget our auxiliary support ships on Digital Click Marketing as we build and expand. SYs to attack position. We're going in. Good evening, ladies. How are you? What's new and exciting in the world of Star Wars to you guys?
Oh, well, in Star Wars or in life?
Well, there's life.
So much going on in life.
There's so much going on in life. I mean, good Lord.
God. Well, what do you want to talk about first? News? Life?
Yeah, let's talk about news. What's going on? Well,
okay.
Let's talk about life. Let's talk about life first. Because
I've become the person who pulls out books about death on my lunch break, and I'm okay with that.
And I'm all for the balance with life. You must acknowledge that.
Do I have them with me right now? No, I think I don't. I think I moved them. Anyway, yeah, I have like a stack of like textbooks about death because of the certification that I'm doing now. And I know I talked a bit about it on the last podcast, but it's been really interesting, especially watching this arc that features very heavily on like Ahsoka and Anakin, who deal in their own ways with a lot of loss and grief. Yeah. Really, the whole Clone Wars arc does.
I gotta say, rewatching this arc too became extremely. Honestly, I mean, I knew it was going to be relevant, but boy, did it hit some chords. I
thought I would be coming at it from like a perspective of death and loss, but then I ended up really starting to see it, especially with the reading that I've been doing from an attachment theory perspective. So that's kind of what my notes are about this month or week. Wow. See, no concept of time. We were talking about that before. No concept of time. Permanent airport time.
I actually have very much a concept of
are in space. Does that happen? In like, I wonder. I don't know. Like, I wonder if that would just be.
It's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. But that's a different franchise.
I am very aware of the time passing at the moment because I am in 3-day Facebook jail.
Oh, no. Oh.
Would you like to know why?
Talk about an evil empire.
Did I tell you guys why?
I don't think so. Why are you in Facebook jail?
I am in Facebook jail because my darling friend Solveig in Norway, she moved from California to Norway, and she posted a Facebook memory that was this map of California. And it was one of those maps that has like, like you will die from heat here. This is where the weed grows. This is like Mexico adjacent. This is where the goat island is. It was like the big orange bridge, like that. It was kind of separated in that way. And North County, San Diego, where I live, was just listed or labeled as classified. And so I commented, I said, I'm classified. And she wrote back, I don't understand that one. Why are you classified? And what do you say when somebody asks you for classified or top secret information? What would your answer be?
Oh, Lord. Seriously?
What would your answer be, Andy?
Well, what should my answer be? And now I feel put on the spot.
Okay,
what I could say that would land me in Facebook jail.
Well, let me tell you. First of all, okay, you know the gif of Sebastian Stan going with like sunglasses on, he's shrugging. Okay, so that was the gif. And then I wrote, I would tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Oh no.
Because it's top secret. Classified.
Seriously?
And almost immediately I got thrown in Facebook jail, and I was like, for what? And so I disputed it, and they reviewed it and said, no, we're sorry, this is violence.
Wow.
And so I'm in 3-day Facebook jail because and I will tell you, okay, it's like I accept this one. The one of my chicken videos being sexual nudity, sexual activity nudity, I got dinged twice for that. That's why I'm on a 3-day timeout, was because I got dinged twice
because too
for
many
a
pictures of
chicken
hot
video.
chicks.
Yeah. But anyways, this one I'll accept because, yes, I use the word kill. Now I know I need to be a smartass in code. It's fine. But
Which chicken videos did you get?
oh, it was just them in their coop. That's it. A video of them in their coop. It was labeled sexual activity or nudity, and I was confused, and so I posted it again, and I got dinged again.
I need to know if Molly's ever had this problem because she has chickens. So
okay, we're gonna have to ask her.
We'll have to ask her.
A fellow chicken tender. But yeah.
Oh, no.
So yeah, anyways, it's okay because, this is caused by a lot of people saying legitimately bad things, and that's why we can't have nice things, and Facebook does not understand nuance or have a sense of humor.
Ruining it for all of us.
Right. Like, to me, it's obviously a joke, but now, okay, it's fine. In 2 days, I will be out of Facebook jail.
Well, very quickly, thanks to Knave-esque for the first follow of the night. Thanks to Jeremy Germ 33 for 33 bits. Let's get on to the Star Wars news of the week. What do you guys got for me?
So we've got the Star Wars trading post that just opened up at Downtown Disney.
Yeah, this is really fun. I actually went down there the other day just to check it out, and honestly, I couldn't get in. So if you don't know this, Downtown Disney has been open. They also have opened a section of DCA, and they open for shopping and dining. None of the rides or rest of the attractions are available. But what they've done is they've taken the husk of what was the Rainforest Cafe, and they've turned that kind of temple architecture into a Yavin base looking storefront where they are basically selling all of the merchandise from Galaxy's Edge. And it's kind of they brought in the Imagineers, so they have fully themed and resurfaced and repurposed the interior jungle. Like, all the shelves that are Rockwork now have Star Wars creatures on them. It's pretty fun. But there is like a 3-hour wait to get into the store at this point.
Is that where the WandaVision photo op is that everybody's posting pictures of?
The WandaVision photo op is actually on the other side. It's over in Buena Vista Street in DCA, which is open and accessible. And yeah, they've set up a little photo op there.
That's where that big backdrop is, right? The studio
it's right next to the where the old Muppets Theater used to be, actually.
I'm really glad I have you guys to let me know about all this really cool stuff.
I haven't been there because I don't leave my house, but I see pictures of Andy.
I don't leave my house either, but sometimes I don't even leave my house on the internet.
I just get stir crazy sometimes. I just go for a drive. As long as
you're being safe, Andy.
Yes. But what you got, Tracy?
Well, we have a release date for Star Wars Bad Batch.
Ooh, finally.
I know. And it is May the 4th be with you. And then
Wise choice.
Yes, always for any kind of Star Wars debut. And then I think episode 2 is coming out just a few days later on May 7th. And then that's going to be like their regular time
Just
slot.
in time for my birthday. My birthday's May 10th, so I'll have some birthday.
Happy birthday.
This is very exciting. I mean, this is I was thinking there for a second that it was going to be something new from Marvel every week, but looks like Marvel's taking a break to make way for Star Wars. I have a little bit of news. Actually, this is part news, but mostly pet peeve of mine. So there's been this rumor going around.
Use your words, Andy.
Words, my words. My true accent come out. Go around. No, this rumor about George Lucas. Apparently, people are getting all excited because they're thinking that George Lucas has a writing credit for 2 episodes of the Cassian Andor series. This is one of those things where it's like, it's kind of clickbait. If people really took the time to look at kind of IMDb, you'd see that George Lucas pretty much has a writing credit for every single Star Wars property that uses any character that he created. So if Mon Mothma or Leia or Senator Organa are in a property, then he's going to get a writing credit for creating characters that are based on things that he did. But there is no supported reporting that he has any hands-on attachment to any of the new round of Star Wars. So sorry if you got excited, folks, but please, bloggers, please report responsibly and look up your sources.
Well, and if you see something like that, I mean, George Lucas, for the most part, is pretty checked out. He's just sort of, riding on his Star Wars coattails at this point and showing up as a cheerleader for projects. Yeah. So if you read that, chances are you should take it with a boulder of salt anyway, right?
Boulder of salt. Yeah, he's just kind of had the happy grandpa. He comes in to come play with Baby Yoda, and then when he pees, he gives him back and goes away. But that is some of the top news. If you have other news stories or things that you'd like us to comment or react to, go ahead and let us know or drop them in the chat. Right now, I'm going to get to our first segment. This is our first guest interview. We have Molly McIsaac. Molly McIsaac was one of the original cast members on SyFy's Fangasm, a writer, comedian, cosplayer, actress, alt model, host, blogger, streamer, and all-around weird geek. Welcome to the show, Molly McIsaac.
Yay!
Hello!
Hello.
Hi. So I was very excited to hear you talk about chickens because all I think about is my chickens at all times.
I told you.
Wait, we have another chicken, Mom?
Oh yeah, I have 8 and they're all named after spices. They're my spice girls and they're all they're all extremely spoiled and I carry them around. I have a giant chicken tattoo on the back of my leg. I'm a crazy, crazy chicken lady.
What breeds do you have?
I have a silky. I have 3 Brahmas of different colors because they're my favorite because they're fat and they have bell bottoms. I have an Ayam Samani. I have
you have an Ayam Samani, like a full-blooded one?
Yeah, her name is Clove because she's goth as F. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go for it.
She's goth as fuck. So her name is Clove. And then I have 2 mutt chickens, and then I have an Easter egger.
Silkies are so cool. They're just so bizarre. They're just big poofs.
My Silky is so stupid because her fluff is over her eyes and she just runs into things all the time. And she's consistently broody. So she always thinks she's going to hatch eggs even though I have no rooster. Yeah.
Yes, they are the broodiest.
Silky that I named Fuzzy Greta when I was 10 years old. And I would tell her every day, I'd say, hello, Fuzzy Greta.
Kevin's Crossing wants to know, do you have 11 herbs and spices? She has 8 herbs and spices.
I would have 11 if I could legally where I live. I can only legally have 10 chickens where I live. So
I have the capacity for 10, but I only have 6.
But you mentioned chickens. I was very excited for us to get a chance to talk about them.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say about Facebook is that I actually got my main account like completely nerfed a few months ago. Like, I'm not allowed to join Facebook with my name anymore. So I'm never allowed to be on Facebook again. I have a sock puppet. I'm not going to talk about it any more than that. But yeah, so honestly, one of my biggest offenses that I got in huge trouble for is Star Wars related. I said that I was going to, this was a joke, obviously, but I said that, so my Star Wars club, we rented out a whole theater for Rise of Skywalker premiere, and it was like a big deal. And as a joke, I said that I was going to pass out Xanax like in a cup to everybody because it was just a theater full of Raylos. And I was like, we're all going to need fucking Xanax for this. And Facebook was like, you're a drug dealer. And I was like, no, I'm not Facebook.
Man, Facebook ain't playing.
Oh, we can thank all these Proud Boy people for that. Anyway.
Yeah, God damn it.
Okay, so the reason why I got so excited about an I Am Samani is because they are black inside and out. They have black skin, black intestines, black feathers, black
really?
eggs. Everything is black.
Well, I know Silkies are black-skinned and black-feathered also, right?
Yeah,
Silkies have gray meat, though.
I am
really?
Samanis, their meat is black and their organs are black, which is incredibly cool. They have an overabundance of melanin. They're pretty badass. Clovis, so
although I guess
India or something, right?
They're from Singapore.
Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're on a Star Wars show, so actually they're tip yip. Singaporean tip yip. Yes.
Void tip yip.
But if you have a rooster, it would be good. Like Darth Vader would be like a good name for like the rooster.
Yeah, I don't like roosters. I like my hens.
Are you allowed to have roosters? I'm not allowed to have roosters where I am.
I'm not. And even if I was, they're such assholes. Just like, I was raised having chickens. I still have scars on my legs from their spurs. So fuck those guys.
But do your chickens like act like you're their rooster? Like, do they present themselves to you? And yeah.
But they also are like so spoiled that they'll straight up like get in my lap and be like, pet me. Like, Jesus.
Well, let's. I just want to welcome you to the show. Obviously, you've talked a little bit about your Star Wars fan club.
This is a chicken show now, Andy.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
Chicken squad.
The Asst, right? The chicken walker. But can you tell us like how did your journey with Star Wars begin? Like,
I mean, God, it's been lifelong. Honestly, I was homeschooled in Alaska by like hyper conservative parents who wouldn't let me consume pop culture. So it was like whenever I would go over to friends' houses, they would like show me forbidden pop culture. And I remember watching Star Wars for the first time at our friend's house from like church. And we were like having a sleepover with him, and he's like my brother's friend, and they just kind of let me tag along as the older sister. And I remember like just being so taken with Princess Leia. I was like, holy shit, like I've never seen a woman in anything like this, and getting like really, really obsessed, and then like convincing my parents to get me the VHS at a thrift store and just like watching them until they broke. So that was the start of it. And I'm 32. So I'm almost 32. I'll be 32 on Thursday. So that was just like, like literally like when I was 8 years old, it started and it never stopped. So I would read all of the EU at used bookstores. If I could find any Star Wars EU, that's what I was grabbing, and like all the comics, and like played all the video games, and just like hyper consumed Star Wars really neurotically. And when like the prequels came out, I was like first in line. I was like cosplaying obscure characters in line before I even knew what cosplay was. Like I dressed up like Ristel for episode 2. Ristel was one of the backup dancers of the Max Rebo band. And like I made like hooves for her because she's a Thelan out of foam, and like she had no bearing on episode 2. I just wanted an excuse to be like a Thelan in line when I was like 14 years old. So it's just been this like lifelong obsession. And then when the reboot happened with the newest 3 movies, I obviously was losing my fucking mind. And the first like Force Awakens came out, lost it, was so excited about it. And my friends and I were like being very funny. My friend Rachel and I in particular were like, ha ha ha, we're like, this is before Kylo Ren was like, everybody on the internet wanted Adam Driver's dick, like at the beginning. But we were like early adopters of being obsessed with Kylo Ren. And so actually, fun side note, have a tattoo of Kylo Ren on my butt and a heart because I thought it would be funny. And it is. It's hilarious. I'm very funny. But so we like made a Facebook group called Star Wars Dumpster Fire. And the whole like point of it was that as like queer women in the fandom, we felt really othered and alienated from even liking The Force Awakens because like the Star Wars fandom can be so toxic. And it's like people seem to only like Star Wars so they can shit on it. And we just felt really bad about that. So we wanted to make a Star Wars group just for like our friends who were at the same level as obsessed as we were. And it was like maybe 10 of us at the beginning. And it was mostly just to like post fan fiction and fan art. And then people started inviting their friends. And then it started like exploding and it became this like place of positivity for people on the internet. So I like low key became this like cult leader of this amazing group of Star Wars fans. And like in the before times we would do in-person meetups, we got invited by Star Wars Celebration to have a table there. We've been like recognized by Lucasfilms as the only like queer adjacent Star Wars club. We have like pins and patches and like I think the culmination of the group was that when Rise of Skywalker came out, which side note I hate very much, but when it came out, we rented out the biggest theater at Universal City Walk, opening night, opening time. We had like a after party at a bar, like costume contest. Like we were like the Star Wars club that was there. And this has just been this like amazing experience for me because growing up homeschooled in Alaska, like I didn't have other Star Wars friends. And then I always felt really othered in the Star Wars fandom for the most part as like a queer woman. And then like I created this little home. And I think right now we're at like 1.2 thousand members or something. So that's my biggest Star Wars thing. But I also cosplay Star Wars. I'm particularly obsessed with the Witches of Dathomir. So
yeah, we posted one of your Dathomir witch.
Yeah, she's my OC, Selassie. And then
I need to know more about her.
Oh, she's just like, I don't know. She's been in my head ever since I learned about the Witches of Dathomir. She's this like seer, so she's really weird, and she rides around in a rancor, and she's a kyber crystal whip. And I don't know. She my girl. I love her very much. But
so let me ask you this. With that in mind, what do you think about the rumors that Morgan Elsbeth might be a last survivor of the witches, the order?
I mean,
of witches?
if they bring witches into mainstream canon, I will lose my fucking mind. Like, I mean, I know that they're in Clone Wars, and that's amazing, but still, like, Clone Wars seems like very like side note for like actual like hardcore fans. If there was a way that the Night Sisters became like mainstream canon, I would lose it. I would be so excited. So like I was really excited to see the Dathomir in the Star Wars video game that came out recently. That I always get the freaking video game names mixed up.
Was that Fallen Order or
yes, Fallen Order. So she ruled. So I think that they're like working up to, I mean, they're such a vital part of Star Wars lore in general. Like it really proves that the Force can be manipulated in new ways.
In different ways, yeah.
Yeah, like they literally make magic out of it, like occult ritual magic. It's so cool.
Well, they also don't adhere to that kind of austerity structure that the Jedi do.
Yeah. No, they're chaos magicians.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that drew me to them initially. It was that very like rebel femme, rebel them kind of thing.
Yep. No,
wait,
and it's
you mean they're Scarlet Witches?
I mean, technically. Crossover episode. I mean, I also think it's really interesting too, because there's not a lot of matriarchal societies in Star Wars, even though it is like a very like female forward franchise these days. The fact that they're like a matriarchal society and like a hardcore one, like their episodes in Clone Wars are like, oh, so they subjugate like the males on their planet. Like, oh, I see.
That's exactly what Ring Capacity just said. And they subjugate their men. Star Wars could use more of that.
Yeah. I wasn't even looking at chat. You and me.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I mean, I will say, like, it was just a hint. Like, I did catch the little tiny bit of a tattoo peeking out from Diana Leah Dos Santos' hairline when during the fight with Ahsoka, and I was like, wait a minute, could that be?
I don't know if she's Dathomir or because there's so much Eastern influence. I think she's the other race that I'm fully fucking forgetting the name of right now. But like, because I feel like there was such heavy-handed Eastern influence, which doesn't go with the witches, that it might be the other one. But if they surprise me, I would be ecstatic. I mean, there was the misstep by one of the makeup artists where she said she was like used Dathomirian makeup as inspiration, but then she like pulled it back, like it got deleted off of her Instagram.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I was actually kind of mad about that because I was like, you don't know what you're talking about, it's not canon. But
I think we talked about that on that episode, actually, Andy. I remember that.
Oh yeah, well, about the rumor, but that it was pulled. I didn't realize it was deleted.
Yeah, she deleted it like a couple of hours later. But I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic. I really feel like everybody who's writing for Star Wars right now has such a great love for the universe and for the lore and for like the really interesting like EU stuff, which I think the witches are so fascinating that they would be foolish not to use them. So I've always just like connected with them so much because like, well, first of all, they ride Rancors, which is like the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. But like, they're a new sort of Force user. And honestly, I'm really bored of like black and white Force. Like I was really hoping that the new trilogy would go towards like quote unquote gray Jedi or gray Force users. So like, give me the chaos magic Force users, like please.
I've said since day one that they need to get back to things like the Bendu and that whole
yes, please.
Shadow Jedi, not Jedi, but Shadow Force user, the gray Force user.
Yeah.
I'm quietly hoping that that's where, if they continue a Grogu arc for Mandalorian, where his story goes.
I mean, yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with Mandalorian because it's obviously passing the torch to Boba now. So I don't know if there's just going to be more like Western hijinks or if we're going to go back to like Ahsoka and everybody.
Well, wait, you mean with you mean with the Boba Fett miniseries, or?
No, I feel like the Mandalorian, they're kind of like stepping away from the Mandalorian and passing the torch of the Mandalorian to Boba Fett being the Mandalorian now.
Oh, I don't think they are.
I think only temporarily. There's just going to be like a little side story for Boba Fett.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as I know, they've announced a miniseries for Boba Fett that would only be a few episodes for December. But like the end of the year, they're still planning to launch season 3 of Mandalorian, and then they'll have 2 other companion series that will be spin-offs that will intersect.
Well, what I'm saying is, didn't it seem like at the end of the last episode that the Mandalorian is now Boba Fett the Mandalorian?
I don't think so. I mean, if anything,
to me, it felt like a torch passing.
Interesting.
But I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
it would be interesting if it was. That would be interesting if they did that, where they did like a couple seasons with him, and then it was like another thing where they switch over to like Bo-Katan, and then it's her Mandalorian story.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was setting up for, was like, was like the adventures of whatever Mandalorian they're following.
Well, I mean, I think they've announced the Book of Boba Fett miniseries, and they that after credits teaser pretty much straight up shows that it's going to be Boba Fett and Fennec Shand taking over the Hutt underworld, right? Which is a separate arc from, now that we know that Din Djarin has the Darksaber, therefore, by Mandalorian honor bound to be the new Mandalore. And with Bo-Katan, the rightful heir, kind of stuck in a hard place of, she respects this Mandalorian who's been a good ally, but if she wants the role, she has to take him down in order to take the Darksaber.
Awkward.
But
So Ring Capacity says, I think that the Ahsoka show is going to take place outside the known universe, and I expect new types of Force users. Could also be a good way to bring the witches in.
Would be amazing.
Yeah.
Especially since you have that earlier team up with her and Ventress. I don't think she would be opposed to teaming up with another Night Witch.
Also, Ventress is canonically not dead. She's just kind of gone. So
I was about to ask. So she's not dead then?
No.
Was she killed in Legends, or am I just remembering it wrong?
No, she kind of just went to the Outer Rim and vanished.
Oh, interesting.
So if they brought her back, I'd lose my mind. Literally, okay, I can define my sexuality in one scene from Star Wars. It's her stabbing someone with her lightsaber and kissing them as they die.
Ooh.
That's my sexuality in a nutshell right there.
Who would you fan cast as Ventress?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm here with the fan casting questions because I love to do it as somebody who is like a director. Like,
this is really weird, but my knee-jerk reaction was Chloe Savini.
Oh,
I don't know why,
that.
but I feel like she can't do action well.
Sorry,
enough.
who's Chloe Savini?
She's an indie sweetheart.
You would probably know her best from American Psycho. She was like the one that he brought over and wanted to kill, but I don't think he actually killed her. She's blonde.
Oh.
She's been in a ton of stuff.
She sucked Vincent Gallo's dick in Brown Bunny, like on camera.
Oh, do you watch American Horror Story? She was in the hotel season.
I do not watch American Horror Story, but I feel like I might have. Maybe I know who you're thinking of.
I think she was in like, yeah. When she was like a teenager was when she started.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe not. Brittany Quinn says, need Asajj Ventress.
Yeah,
no, I would literally I feel like she's so important and they're bringing back really important lore characters. So I would love to see her come back.
I think she's important for similar reasons, different personality manifestations than as Ahsoka, is that both Ahsoka and Asajj Ventress got kind of fed up with the orders with which they were associated. And they had an opportunity to either switch sides or come back and commit even harder. And instead they went, no, fuck these systems. And they went on to kind of forge their own path with the Force outside of those. And I think that's kind of important. That's pivotal for the direction that the Star Wars universe is taking right now.
I agree, especially because she's waffled between dark side and light side, and kind of just solidly falls in the chaotic neutral section now.
I was gonna say, did you read any of the novels with her and Quinlan Voss in that whole arc?
I did. I still religiously read Star Wars books. They're my happy place.
Yeah, I never read those arcs.
New ones?
Oh God. I mean, I'm honestly kind of behind recently, but I still have been stockpiling my shelf. I've been getting a lot of the comics I haven't read recently, so that's where I'm going right now. But I'm probably I switch hyperfixations, and my newest one has been all the Dragon Age novels, so I'm behind on Star Wars. But once I get done with all the Dragon Age novels, I'm going back to Star Wars.
Dragon Age, is that Temeraire?
It's a video game.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Have you read Temeraire? It's so good.
Mm-mm.
It's think the Napoleonic Wars, but with dragons in them.
Well, that certainly appeals to my sensibilities.
I'm gonna have to bookmark that and ask you to send me that.
Yes, Naomi Novik is the writer. It's really good.
Wait, she's the one who did Spinning Silver, isn't that? The Rumpelstiltskin story?
Oh, I don't know. I've only read her Temeraire stuff.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
And Ring Capacity.
Live action Hondo Ohnaka would be really cool.
Yeah, she did Spinning Silver and Uprooted.
Prosthetics, that would be fucking cool.
Yeah, so Ring Capacity and Kevin's Crossing both asking for Hondo. And Crossing says, Kevin Crossing says, chaos is great chaos. Hondo chaos is great chaos. Sorry. Yeah,
It's interesting. I don't know if it's intentional, but at least like the way my brain goes, the word hondo. When I don't remember how it's spelled because I'm terrible at spelling. But in Spanish, hondo means deep, which is kind of interesting.
Oh. I just, I want if they get Hondo Ohnaka, I really hope they they get the voice of Pooh and Tigger to continue performing him though. Jim Cummings, who was the voice of Hondo Ohnaka, but is also known for Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Darkwing Duck and about everything else.
Is he the one that just got in trouble though?
Oh no, not him too. Really?
Somebody just got in trouble. I thought it was the voice of Winnie the Pooh, but maybe not. Who got in trouble for?
Well, that would be Jim Cummings. Oh,
yeah.
God damn it. Oh, God damn it. What the hell?
I think it was like, I don't know. I want to look it up to be sure because I don't want to put anything out there. But yeah, I thought it was him.
Well, crap. Let's hope not.
I'm going to Google while we move along.
Molly, we're coming up to our last 10 minutes, but tell us what you're most excited about right now with the group that you have, or anything else you have coming up.
I mean, Star Wars wise.
Well, Star Wars wise, or what your fan club is doing, or.
I mean, honestly, we've been kind of at a standstill with the fan club since, COVID. Like, I had a lot of really, ambitious things that will definitely happen again once it's safer to do so. I just didn't want to encourage people to be doing things where they gathered. But we were going to try to, have, different branches in different cities. And I think the thing that I was most excited about was we were going to try to, start a YouTube channel together where we could, put, up, Star Wars fan films and, people's little vlogs or whatever, just any Star Wars related things, just have a little happy place for the Star Wars dumpster fire people to exist with their content and media. But I myself have a Star Wars fan film that I want to make really bad, but it's I don't feel ethical creating anything right now until we're all vaccinated, sadly. Right. So that's on hold for a while, but I wanted to make it with everybody in Star Wars dumpster fire. We talked about it before the pandemic hit. I posted in there and everybody was like, oh my God, I do this and I do this and then I do this. And we were going to have this little interactive thing. And it was about basically this fan fiction that I wrote, but cooler, about a bounty hunter who doesn't know that she's force sensitive because she has one of those little monkey creatures that causes force dampening, and then
the Solimari, or nice,
and then he vanishes and she suddenly is but she hunts down force users, so now she's got this ethical dilemma. So maybe someday we'll make that. Otherwise, Star Wars wise, I just write a lot of fan fiction, but I'm not going to tell y'all where to find it because it's filthy.
I mean, I just need to ask you later. Okay.
Yeah, I'll privately tell you. I have actually read some of the excerpts on it on the official SyFy Star Wars podcast. They had me on to read excerpts of my filthy Star Wars fan fiction, but
wait, there's a fan fiction app. I remember because I downloaded it to read something. Yeah, I read something, and then somehow I went down this rabbit hole of New Direction fan fiction. But I don't even listen to New Direction. I went down this rabbit hole.
Well,
and I read it.
Good. How was it?
It had very poor spelling and grammar and pretty much very bad storytelling and the whole bit. But for some reason, it hooked me and I read New Direction fan fiction.
That's like those Facebook ads. I don't know if you've seen them for the really bad werewolf fan fiction, where it's you're my mate, I said as I bit her neck, and you click on read more and it's literally the worst written thing ever. It's I was being shuttled off to the palace of the werewolf prince, and then 5 sentences later she doesn't know he's a werewolf, but it's incredible.
Have you read that there's a Snow White is a vampire one, and it's so
that's a great idea.
bad, but I read them all, and then And then like
So bad, but I read them all. That chapter in
a year later at a convention, she was like 2 tables down from me, and I was like, "Why does this look familiar?" Oh, I felt so awkward.
Well, I write a lot of Ray Lowe.
Ah.
And I also write a lot of Gay Space Monk. I love my Gay Space Monks.
I'm wearing Ray on my shirt right now.
Yes, my girl.
I have Ray on my boobs and you have Kylo on your butt.
You should touch butt and boobs.
I don't have a Jedi on me, but I do have.
You guys so good. I did want to say I rewatched, I haven't watched Clone Wars in a really long time. And I rewatched the arc that y'all were going to be talking about tonight.
You did. Would you like to stick around with us as we get into it?
Sadly, I'm going to have to bow out because I'm honestly not used to talking that much and my throat's getting sore. Because I'm like in my COVID space.
This is the most we have talked in.
The only person I really talked to is my girlfriend, and we go through long periods of just watching Marvel movies or something. So.
That's fair.
But I will say though that like my God, I totally forgot about the Steela stuff, and I got really sad. And I always forget that Ahsoka basically like should have like PTSD. She's gone through some shit. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this arc, because it is so interestingly impactful, and really like there's shades of all the themes throughout the whole run of the series. Well, yeah, and you can see her like deprogramming too.
Yeah, like
you can see her being like, "Wow, these things that I was taught are bullshit." Yeah, it's amazing.
Like the point when she's. I mean, we'll get into this more, but like the point when she's begging for Obi-Wan and Anakin to send, Republic support, and they're like, "It's up to the Council," and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yep. Yeah, she's my little precious bab, and I want to protect at all costs.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the series. I'm very excited.
Oh God, I can't wait. When is that coming out? Do they have a release date yet?
2022 or something.
Yeah, no dates yet, but
I will tell y'all, I was looking at the upcoming Star Wars books just now. One that I'm very excited about is the Star Wars Book of Monsters is coming out in April.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, and then also the Art of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is coming out in April.
Excellent.
So I obsessively collect like all of the reference and art books from Star Wars. I have like a massive collection. I even have the Ralph McQuarrie ones. They're my most prized possession.
Yeah, actually, we're thinking about in a couple of weeks maybe inviting a friend of the pod, friend over at EndorExpress.net, who is kind of a armchair expert in all things Imagineering, and particularly around Star Tours and Star Wars as it has pertained to Imagineering and the Disney parks. But hopefully we'll get into some of that as well, because I love nerding about that stuff as well.
Me too.
Oh my God, he nerds hard.
One of my most like amazing experiences, actually, I'll just like say this before y'all kick me off. I went to Galaxy's Edge quite a few times before Disneyland shut down. And like probably one of the best moments of my life was my like building a lightsaber experience.
Yeah.
Because I went in like casual Dathomirian garb, and as one does, and I like went in, and all of the cast members were like super in character with me, and I was like, nice. "Oh, you got the Kyber crystals from my home planet," and they're like, "Are you from Dathomir?" And I was like, "You fucking bet your ass."
Oh, they called you out. Nice.
Yeah, and it was great because like the guy who was helping me build my lightsaber was like so into it and was like, are you a Night Sister, wink wink? And I was like, shh, like don't do it. And like we had this awesome. like tit for tat that was like so cool, and I built like a very Dathomirian lightsaber. I wish it was up here with me right now, with like like the horn at the end and like everything. It was so good, and I like actually left, and I was like so because I just like LARPed a true Star Wars experience that I like left the building and just like sat on the ground and cried for 10 minutes because I was so emotionally overwhelmed.
You know, I just want to give a shout out to all the cast members, you know, I mean, because they honestly, I mean, and many of them are laid off right now, right? And or on furlough. But gosh, they all went all out. You know, it wasn't just Imagineering. The cast members all came up with, you know, everyone was encouraged to come up with their own backstory. So like they, you know, commuted from whatever planet that they decided they came from. They were encouraged to kind of come up with their own uniform using the pieces that they had to really kind of, to create a Star Wars LARP.
I can't wait for the hotel.
Oh my gosh, that hotel.
I can't wait till I can afford any of these things.
I'll straight up like, if I'm looking for a sugar daddy specifically for the Star Wars hotel, listen, nothing for you, but everything for me. Give it.
Actually,
I want a geek sugar daddy.
I'll vlog it or I'll live stream it for you. I don't care.
Can we share a geek sugar?
Yeah, all three of us.
Okay, so if anybody wants a geek sugar harem.
And do you like brunettes with like bluish, pinkish, brownish hair?
Yeah, no, it's stupid expensive, but I swear I will eat ramen for a year to do that experience. Are you kidding me? Looking out the windows and seeing space.
Yeah. So I mean, actually, I was just looking up the patents for that tech in particular. About there are filed patents from Disney that kind of show.
Wait, the windows are going to be space?
Yes.
So like basically, you are immersed inside this hotel, and you are on a starship for 2 days.
They don't break character. They speak to you in character the whole time. Every
window leads out to space, and there are the bridge windows, which are really impressively technical. Basically, it's a full-size, 20-foot window that looks out into space, and they're using kind of a combination of translucent video and Pepper's ghost effect and projection and video wall to create dimensional.
Are you not allowed to leave the hotel for 2 days?
It's a cruise experience on a starship.
Andy,
wait, it's on a boat?
No.
In a hotel?
You go in a hotel, but you are kind of socially distanced basically on this hotel for a immersive LARP Star Cruiser experience.
So what I'm hearing is that if you have just read the Legacy Run arc and you have severe anxiety,
oh gosh,
not sign up for this.
Well, okay, you do.
Way to bring it down, Lexi. Way to bring it down.
We you do apparently have one port day on Black Spire, so Oh,
I forgot I was wearing a headband.
Wait,
before you go, Molly, I want to tell you that next week our guest is a Star Wars fan filmmaker.
Amazing! I'll definitely try to tune in.
Okay.
Do you want to talk to say who it is?
Yes, it's Raymond Montemayor, and he's made several Star Wars fan films, and he uses stop motion photography and live action, and I'm in one of them for like a hot second. Like a hot second.
That's so cool.
So Molly, thank you so much for your time tonight. Before we let you go, anything you'd like to share with us?
If y'all want to follow me on the internet, it's Molly McIsaac everywhere but Facebook, where I'm not allowed to be me. But if you want to join a Star Wars group, it's Star Wars Dumpster Fire on Facebook. You'll know it. I think there's like a little like fire emoji at the end.
Lovely.
I also stream semi-often on my channel here on Twitch, which is Night Glimmer, and I mostly play Final Fantasy 14, but occasionally other things. And I will actually, in Star Wars related news, at some point this year be DMing an Edge of the Empire game on the TTRPG channel that I stream with, which is Q Times. So watch out for that. So like I will be running like a pretty like Sith leaning Edge of the Empire game because I like the evil babies more than anything. So yeah, but if you just follow me on any like social media, I'm pretty active on Twitter and Instagram, so I'll talk about it. But I had so much fun. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you Twitch on Saturday nights, we'll have to raid you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right.
Thanks so much, Molly. So good to see you again.
Yeah, so good to see you.
Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
May the
Nice
force
to meet
be with you.
May the force be with
and also
you.
with you.
Back to Catholic school. Ooh, speaking of PTSD and Ahsoka.
All right, then we're going to move on to our next topic. Really quickly, one little plug here. To celebrate, we are here on the Geekish Network. We're going to celebrate the new network. And to honor the podcast that started it all, we are giving away a PC, a full PC system, courtesy of our good friend of the network at Jeremy Germ 33. He's you can find him on Instagram and on Twitch as at Jeremy Germ 33. We'll go ahead and put that in the...
He gave us 33 bits.
And he gave us 33 bits. Thank you for that. It's a custom workstation or gaming PC that won't break the bank unless you want it to. You set the budget, he'll work around it. Premium parts with your personal flair, serving the greater LA County with 20 years of experience. If you're in the market for a PC, hit up at Jeremy Germ 33 IG and Twitch. We'll drop this link in the chat. One of us will. And make sure you take a look at that, and we'll be doing that giveaway.
It's in it.
It's in it. It's like magic.
And he gave us another 33 bits. We have 66 bits. I have no idea what that means, but thanks.
But definitely check that out. And hopefully you can see you'll see the case. It is a beautiful case. It has the words Pangeekery running across it. Of course, the channel that started it all. It looks very much like the black label of
Johnny Walker?
Yes.
I know my alcohols.
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot that I was going to tell because people always ask me in the chat what I'm drinking because I slowly get tipsier throughout the night. And because I was painting my kitchen, I have paint all over me. I was painting my kitchen, so I didn't.
Wait, is it blue?
It's blue, yes. But I haven't washed my Chewbacca tiki sipper cuppy thingy, so I'm just drinking straight out of there with a paper straw, which is starting to disintegrate. But it's I'm drinking the Two Town Cider House Pacific Pineapple tonight.
That sounds tasty.
It is 5% alcohol by volume, which is a full percent less than the one I was drinking last week, which is why I got super tipsy last week, and I'm less tipsy this week, even though I'm on number.
Well, then you just need to drink faster, then clearly, because that straw is gonna. Otherwise, it's about the straw, really.
It is about the straw, but I was trying not to mess up my lip gloss, but it's almost gone anyway, so I'm gonna re-up. So I looked up the Jim Cummings thing, and he was accused of rape and animal abuse, but then Ring Capacity in the comments says that he was vindicated by the court. So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, but
that sounds too messy for my heart to get into right now.
Can people
I'll revisit that later.
Be terrible, please? Is that really so much to ask?
Just don't be an asshole.
Come on. I mean, Gina, they were just going to give you a bag of money, Gina. What the hell?
Kevin's Crossing just said, well, if you start to tip, we can just rotate your camera. That's funny. We need to do a drunk episode. I'm down for that.
I could get behind that.
That was like every episode of Pod Thingy, but hey, I'm cool with that.
Well, shall we?
I went to UCSB. I'm uniquely qualified to do a drunk episode of anything.
Let the spatchka roll. Shall we get on to our next topic for the evening?
Oh,
if we must.
Quick, I flashed this shirt at people, but this is by a really lovely artist. Their website is quietduna.com. Really, I don't know, super comfy, good art, lots of fandom stuff. So check that out. Moving on.
Excellent.
I'm always looking for nerdy tank tops at Comic-Con because even if it's freezing cold the week before and the week after, the week of Comic-Con will be hot and humid.
Tank tops
every time.
Layer in. Tank tops are better to layer in. That way you don't have the extra sleeve that you're sweating in, and you can air
it out.
Okay, I have a tendency to ride hot, but my friends are making fun of me because recently I decided upon I'm going to try to make ponchos work. So I have a fabric poncho with a hoodie, and it's great because if I just get warm, I just go poof, and then I'm aired out. It's great.
Okay, wait. So who's making fun of you? Who do I need to beat up?
That's a stunning idea. Come hang out with me and my weird Burning Man friends. They'll come.
I'll also say that it like once I put it on, I looked at it, at myself in the mirror, and I'm kind of like, this could like incognito be like the start of an Ahsoka Mano cosplay.
I tell you, I dress a little weird. I feel like a Jedi. It boosts my self-esteem.
Okay, with that,
I don't have normal people clothes anymore.
Let's move on. The Essential Ahsoka, Part 2, the Onderon arc. As the Clone Wars rage on across the galaxy, the human toll continues to mount as Jedi apprentice Ahsoka Tano continues to learn about and question the war and its effects on the Jedi Order. Her investment in the many players rises on the planet Onderon, where she encounters Separatist Senator Bonteri and her son Lux Bonteri. Over 3 years of encounters with Lux, she learns how the lines between good and evil, friend and enemy, become increasingly gray as the planet becomes increasingly oppressed and more desperate under Separatist rule. The unrest on the planet leads to a controversial plan proposed by Jedi Knight General Anakin Skywalker, who recommends supporting rebel forces on Onderon in their attempt to destabilize Separatist control. But as Ahsoka becomes more invested and attached to the movement founded and led by revolutionaries Lux Bonteri, Saw Gerrera, and Sister Stila Gerrera, the Padawan Tano is forced to test her resolve between fighting for what she believes in, fighting for what she cares about, and fighting for what she thinks is right. So these are episodes 310, 414, and 5.2 through 5. What did you guys think of this arc? First impressions.
So first impressions, I went, and this is not a particularly insightful one. I just literally went, is the narrator the same guy who narrated George of the Jungle?
Wait, which version? The one with Brendan Fraser?
Yeah. Like,
I haven't seen
I was just listening to it and I just went, why does this... He sounds like the narrator from George of the... So I don't know. That's something...
I believe the voice actors doing the opening narration is shoot, what's his name? The same voice actor who does Obi-Wan. Why am I blanking on his name? Gosh, brain not working. But it's he does Obi-Wan. He does Eulorin. He does a number of different voices on the show.
Anyway, it reminded me so much. Like, watch George of the Jungle, even if it's for like 0.5 seconds. Like, listen to the narrator, play it back to back. Like, it sounds really similar. I don't know.
How often do you watch the Brendan Fraser George of the Jungle?
Not very often, but it came around in my formative years. I'm a 90s baby, okay?
He's not bad to look at. I mean, honestly. George
of the Jungle actually is he's a hero from
James Arnold Taylor. Thank you for that in the chat.
He's a romantic interest who's actually not written from the male gaze. And that's a whole other essay that I could get into, but we're not here to talk about.
We're not here to talk about that.
But feel free to ask me about that at a later date, because Brendan Fraser is a feminist romance icon. Or not Brendan Fraser, Brendan Fraser is George of the Jungle.
Yes. I just know there were a lot of moms.
I think I saw that once. Was there?
There were a lot of moms at the time who were all about watching that with their kids. That's all I'm going to say. About these episodes. So the start.
I loved that this was. I had forgotten that this arc had a lot of Ahsoka and Amidala team up, and I just always loved. I love that. That makes me really happy.
Yeah, the first episode, we're kind of introduced to kind of what Amidala is doing, just trying to deal with this war on a diplomatic side, right? And she makes a run to Onderon to see if she can broker peace with her mentor, who we find is Senator Bonteri.
Wait, I don't think she goes to Does she go to Onderon? Because Ahsoka asks him later. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're right. They go to wherever the Confederacy Senate is. but she's still representing.
Whatever Mina Bontari's planet is, I don't remember.
It starts with a C. Ring capacity. Tell us.
Mina Bontari is from. No, she is from Onderon. That's
She's
our-
from-
Well, yeah, she's from Onderon.
from Onderon.
But the Senate is
We're
on a
talking
different
about-
planet.
Right.
Onderon is also a really interesting planet. Like, I don't know if it's still canon, but at least in Legends, Onderon was ruled by a Sith leader in like 4,000 before Yavin. It's also like a jungle planet. We have people who are like, beast riders, that we still see happening when we get to that.
I love those. Oh my god. I forgot about them and I love them so much. What are they called? I need to find that out. Keep going. I'll find it out.
Ring capacity says names are not his strong suit.
Names-
So.
Darn. I also find it really kind of interesting how they kind of set this up where, they are trying to broker peace, and you see the banking clan and the Kaminoans basically trying to block this bid for peace and straight up war profiteering with Dooku.
Yeah, that's like what we live in right now. Art reflecting life.
So let's talk about let's talk about Lux. What are your impressions of Lux in that first episode?
He's super hot for a cartoon character.
He's got that kind of Aladdin hair.
I like his little nose. I like how it goes like this.
He's got that
It's got,
Irish.
His Disney Prince nose.
It's like the ski slope nose, or like the slalom nose.
His character design reminded me a little more than I expected of Bolin from Avatar, which is not surprising, seeing as it's a Filoni.
Oh, that's true. They do both have that same kind of pointed nose.
Like that like British charm, you know what I mean, with the big eyes and the little nose. Yeah, and the hair. Yeah, total. Yeah.
I also like how both the Bontaries are kind of used to humanize the separatists, right? I mean, basically, Ahsoka comes into this very distrustful of everyone, and she's ultimately proven wrong.
I love how gently but firmly, like, she says something, and someone's like, "Oh, well, those are kind of." I think is it Mina? She's like, "Oh, those are kind of extremist views." Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's very casual. It's like, "Oh, that's extremist, sweetheart."
Well, I mean, and they also have a kind of interesting perspective in that she lost her husband and he lost his father to like a Jedi killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't really have any faith in like the establishment per se,
Right.
which is, and she kind of gets her first chance to see a case where that might be valid. Which actually was like a note. I said we see Ahsoka start to realize that she doesn't have a full view. She's not fully aware of the scope of the Republic's actions, and she's starting to realize she might represent some practices that she doesn't approve of.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually a great line that she has at the end of the episode, and she's walking along with Anakin and Padme, and I can't remember the line precisely, but she talks about how this war is not as simple as she thought it was when this all began.
I remember, and it's interesting because I remember watching that when like the episode when it came out initially, and what year did it come out?
Gosh, I don't remember. 2013 maybe.
Yeah, and so like I was around 23-ish at the time. And I remember thinking that and being like, valid, right? And like looking back at it now, I was like, oh, sweetheart, that's adorable. You know? Which I think it's funny because like Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka would probably also look back at that Ahsoka and be like, sweetheart, that is adorable.
I mean, Ahsoka is what? She's about 14 still at that time, right?
Yeah. But it's also very sad looking at it in that context that you have a 14-year-old who's like actually having to contextualize, have deep working knowledge of like the realities of war.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was, one of the things that I called out about the last arc that we watched, right? Where she has that exchange with Varys, where she kind of questions what are the Jedi's role in all of this war? Are we warriors or are we keepers of the peace? And what's the difference, right?
And what does peace mean then in
Right.
that context, you know?
I want to move on to the next episode of Friend in Need, right? So this is 1 year later, and Ahsoka comes across Lux Monteri, who is now trying to avenge his mother's death. We find out that after her attempt to broker peace with Padme, Dooku had her killed, and Lux is kind of hellbent to have Dooku killed.
No matter what it costs him, right?
Right.
He starts to get a little he starts to get a little extremist, you know,
Yeah.
in of himself. And it's very interesting because you kind of see, while Ahsoka is a I talk a lot about character foils coming from like a directing standpoint, you know, but you see Ahsoka a lot as a character foil for Anakin, but it's interesting because then they almost use Lux as a character foil for Padme.
Yeah.
Because Padme is not the one to respond to emotional situations with violence.
Well, this is also the interesting thing. Like, you know, you see a little bit of light flirting in the first episode, right?
And that's why I compare the two.
But yeah, we get to this where now there's like some straight up like chemistry happening to the point that in like first of all, of course, we meet Death Watch, and for context, if you haven't seen the whole arc of Clone Wars, this is the second time we've seen Death Watch and Pre Vizsla in the context of everything. But in order to save Ahsoka from being found out for being a Jedi Padawan, he claims that she is his betrothed. Lux does. And in one scene, to kind of get her to shut up and not talk about how Death Watch is a terrorist organization, he basically, they lock lips.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he kind of springs it on her.
It's just like, shut up! But we see the sparks fly, though, too, right? And that is a really interesting thing in that we kind of see Ahsoka have her first crush here, more or less.
Yeah.
Oh, are we getting into that yet?
I think we can. I mean,
you just did.
The fact that Anakin is like, be careful with that. I understand what's going on here.
And they do have a nod to that where she's like, she just very like glibly says to Padme at some point in the arc, oh yeah, that's why you and Anakin get along. And Padme's like, like realizes that she has no idea what she just said and is like, yeah, that's totally why we get along. Only time I think I've ever seen, noted, only time I think I've ever seen Padme's character be awkward, like ever. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean this is a great thing, right? And you know, you guys have heard me talk about this, but I really do love this dynamic between Anakin and Ahsoka. When we get to A War on Two Fronts, which is when they're on Onderon and working with Saw Gerrera and Stila Gerrera, and Ahsoka is kind of now in a place where she spends a lot of time with Lux, but of course, Jedi has a philosophy around how Jedi are supposed to maintain attachments, or rather not have them.
Okay, but her mentors are Anakin, who's like banging Padme, and Obi-Wan, who's banging the Queen of Mandalore.
Well, okay, Obi-Wan did not bang the Queen of Mandalore. Obi-Wan...
He did in his mind.
But he, well, actually, this is the thing, right? This is the really interesting thing, and I think we're actually going to cover the Duchess of Mandalore story arc next, just to kind of look at these three shipping, right? Because Obi-Wan basically straight up, he's like, it's the Jedi way. I don't do that. He's in full self-denial about this. Which is kind of the source of a lot of friction between him and the Duchess. But so you have like two opposite extremes.
And his denial arguably causes a domino effect of what happens to Anakin and Ahsoka.
Right.
Back to.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to kind of see how level-headed Anakin is in counseling Ahsoka and keeping her in perspective so that Ahsoka ultimately is the only one of the three of them to make the right decision.
Sorry, I'm giggling because Earl says they did it, and like, you know, and I can't really argue with that. No, so it's like I feel like this is the perfect time for me to like get all like psychology.
Go for it. Yeah.
Like, attachment theory in the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
So if anybody is not familiar with attachment theory, it's a theory put forward by John Bowlby, who was a British psychoanalyst in the 1900s, 1907 to 1990. He studied behavior in infants who'd been separated from their parents, which like right away, a very literal, like Jedi are all like adopted kids, essentially in the social order that they're raised in. And attachment being a way to describe an aspect of a caretaker and ward relationship where the primary caregiver functions as a safe base from which the ward can learn and explore. There are attachment figures, and the attachment figure would be like the Jedi Master, who would provide as figure support, protection, and care. People have different types of attachment, which it's becoming kind of more popular to talk about it in psychology. I think it's a great thing that people are talking about it because it helps them fix their shit. So in our particular little group of Jedi, with Obi-Wan, with Anakin, and with Ahsoka, we have like a bunch of attachment styles, which I think are really interesting. So we've got organized attachment styles, which are secure, avoidant, and disorganized. Yeah. So secure adults tend to hold positive self-image and positive images of others, meaning that they had both a sense of worthiness and expectation that other people were generally accepting and responsive. Many secure adults may in fact experience negative attachment-related events, but they're able to objectively assess people and avoid events that are negative and gravitate towards events that assign positive value to relationships in general. So they're basically able to recognize green flags is what that's fancy for, right?
Which is pretty much what Ahsoka does. I mean, she knows she has these feelings for him. She's processed it.
Green flags in a way, because you know, so there's others. So you have
what if you're really good at attracting red flags?
I would not actually call Ahsoka a secure attachment style.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Later. So there's the avoidant attachment style, which is like, actually, I think the only secure attachment style in Star Wars that I've ever seen is Yoda.
Really?
Yeah. Because
how so?
Because he's not beyond bestowing favors upon people that he finds particularly important or that he thinks have a particular relevance to what are going on. So he's not, averse to that, but he also doesn't hold on to things too much. Then you've got like the avoidant attachment style, which is like demonstrated by adults who hold a positive self-image and a negative image of others. They avoid close relationships and intimacy with others. They deny experiencing distress associated with relationships and attachments in general.
That sounds like Obi-Wan.
Which is why I thought of it. That's Obi-Wan. So You've got Obi-Wan there, right? Then you've got disorganized, which I think Anakin and Ahsoka are different types of disorganized.
Interesting.
So you have children who perceive that their emotional needs are somehow going to be rejected by their parents, aka the Jedi Order. You're not supposed to feel that. You're not supposed to focus on that feeling. Put it away. That's not for Jedi to have. That's not for Jedi to feel. So the child stops expecting responses from the parents and learn that they should not express their emotions openly or seek support because they're not going to receive any. As time goes by, they become self-sufficient and independent. Other people reject their emotions anyway, so why bother trying to express them? And so sometimes that's why like that they have a lot of their relationships end up being these kind of taboo things with Lux and Padme.
So, so this was my feeling, and okay, I have other feelings about Yoda, but that's a larger topic that I'll touch on. But, Tracy really wants to talk. Do you want to talk before me?
I just think it's really weird that you're talking about this in the very next episode after Onderon is the Padawans or the younglings trying to get their kyber crystals, and the exact same thing is happening. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, Tracy, like when I was watching this arc, I just blew right on through and kept going. So I did watch that episode, and I went, oh, so like same page.
Yeah. So here, I mean, the thing that I find striking, right, is that ultimately Ahsoka, in my opinion, makes the most kind of responsible choice, right? She doesn't quite deny her feelings. In fact, she reaches out to Anakin and straight up talks about them.
Yeah.
And in that way, you know, I have this whole theory that we've talked about off Mike before, that kind of one of the core arcs of the Clone Wars is the one good thing that Anakin did is that he served as a nurturing big brother to Ahsoka and gave her all the support that he was lacking in not having a father figure in Qui-Gon Jinn and not having really a truly a brother figure in Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan ultimately is distant in his kind of you know, his holding true to the Jedi way. And in that said, you know, Ahsoka kind of actually processes this. You know, she knows that she's a Jedi. She has an oath. She knows that Lux has this thing with Steela, and she's not gonna encroach on that to the point that, you know, they kiss right in front of her, and she knocks him on the shoulder. It's painful for her, but she,
Wait,
you know,
did they kiss? They just hugged. They didn't kiss.
No, she kisses, Steela kisses him.
Yeah.
On the lips?
Before the last
big
mission.
old kiss.
She's like,
yeah.
Before the last mission, she's like, fuck it, and just kind of goes for it and like grabs
How
him.
did I
and-
miss that?
He has a moment where he reaches for her right before they're about to go into battle, and he's like, never mind. And then she goes to mount her dinosaur, and then she's like, wait a minute. And she goes over and like plants a big one on him, and Ahsoka's just watching there right
She's
behind them
well, that's happening.
and taking it all in stride.
That's
you know?
happening. Well, that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she congratulates him. She like knocks him on the shoulders, like, "Hey, yeah," you know. And she's like, inside.
How did I miss that?
That's a big moment.
It's great because I can see her, because, you know, like I can see her being like, well, how can I not congratulate my friend? Like, how can I not? I'm not a good partner for him anyway. You know, like I can see her doing that. Like I could see her doing the mental math. Like it would just be selfish of me to be a shit about this. And so she like sucks it up.
Well, I mean, also, you know, like when they first meet, you know, they have a little bit of, you know, there's a little bit of friction between Steela and Ahsoka at the beginning too. Which
honestly, it's because Steela full on clocks that Ahsoka and Lux have a thing.
they got a thing. Yeah.
She clocks it right away.
Ring Capacity says
is younger and does not clock it right away and is like, bitch, why are you being so moody towards me? And then is like, like
Ring Capacity.
That's when she's preoccupied, and then Anakin's like, head in the game.
Yeah. Ring Capacity says Ahsoka is all emotion. She was always butting heads with the Jedi because of it. Yeah. I mean, and that's something, you know, if you watch the very beginning of the series, the whole idea of assigning Ahsoka to Anakin was that they were like, you know, Anakin Skywalker, he's way too good at this war thing, and he's too impulsive. What we need to do is give him a really impulsive Padawan so that he can work through his attachments and be ready to let go of them when she grows. Which
Not
sorry, what?
Practice. Good in theory, but in practice, did not work out that way.
Which is also, but I do want to address, like, you know, I have this thing with Yoda that I kind of feel the core of the problems of the Jedi Order kind of begin from Yoda, in part because we know Yoda has been the sole Grandmaster of the Jedi Order for at least 300 years. But I have a whole theory about where his cultural mindset is and how it relates to his personal philosophy on attachments, but I won't get into that right now.
And the fact that, like, I mean, I think also just like his sheer lifespan compared to a lot of the other creatures that he works with is really going to skew his priorities, takes, views. Absolutely. But that's, you know, the thing that you were saying with Ahsoka being the only one of those three kind of principal Jedi, the original like trio of like Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and Anakin, to make the healthiest choice. And like I would agree with you on that fully. And the evidence of that being like she's the only one to like survive all of that. sure. He was old, whatever. But like he decided, he's like, I've contributed all I can. You know, like going out like this is the best thing I can do. And like Ahsoka is the one who her choices, her path is the one that moves things forward. And that's why she has made it through the longest she's needed. She's needed to take things in a new direction. As we kind of touched on with Molly earlier, that she and Asajj Ventress both have opportunities like Anakin did. Anakin had the opportunity to be an independent Force user. Mm-hmm. He could have done that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Asajj, like I said, she was formerly Sith and then kind of gave up that Sith alliance. But, you know, going back to Ahsoka, she also, you know, had the opportunity to go back to the Jedi, or it would have been pretty simple for her to like turn Sith if she wanted to, you know?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, the difference is that Anakin ultimately embraces his anger, right? Yeah. He embraces his fear of loss and he goes headfirst into anger. He never learns how to process his anger. And that's something that they even kind of call out, you know, in episode 1. But versus, you know, Ahsoka has this time where she is in touch with her emotions and she is in touch with her passions and she learns how to process them, you know, and in part because of watching Anakin of all things.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree about that.
I do want to get to some of these other things. You know, we did actually get to see, this is actually the first episode you see Bo-Katan actually in the entire series.
I lied. He's got an anxious attachment style. When someone who like hurts them comes back, they want to be comforted, but they pull away because they want to punish the person who hurt them.
Oh yeah. Totally.
That's fucking Anakin, that vindictive shit. Okay, move on.
Oh yeah, well, and we also see how kind of controlling he is too, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like there's the whole arc with Corvus. Sorry, we're getting tangent. Yeah, so I wanted to call out that this is the first appearance of Bo-Katan with who was first cast as just a random Death Watch lieutenant, but of course her character is expanded on in episodes after this. This is also the first time we see Saw Gerrera, and of course, you know, Saw Gerrera, if you didn't realize, this is the same character that appears in Rogue One and is played by Forrest Whitaker.
Kevin, I'm sad because I'm out of alcohol. Andy, I would totally do young Saw Gerrera.
Young Saw Gerrera was kind of a snack.
He's got anger issues, man.
And Steela. I like not both at the same time. That's a little weird. I'm not into the sibling shit, but as somebody who like appreciates equal opportunity aesthetics across all genders, I have to say, like, that's an attractive pair of siblings. Their parents done good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Can you imagine if Steela Gerrera and Lux had babies? Those are some cute babies, I'm just saying. But I would totally... I'm just saying that me and cartoon Saw Gerrera would also have cute babies. And we could...
cute little rebel scum.
I know. And we could name them Iron and Copper and Screwdriver.
So
Lord.
I don't know if it was intentional, but I'm blanking out on the spelling of Guerrera's last name, but Guerrera in Spanish, at least the closest associated word is warrior.
Yeah,
I think it's Guerra.
Yeah, that's Spanish. That's Spanish.
Yeah.
It's literally like warrior fighter.
Ooh, see, that was not on accident. Like, that was definitely
That was not on accident. They did that.
That's like Pablo Hidalgo sneaking it in, right?
Yeah, that's like General Grievous. Do you think he's nice?
Or Darth Sidious.
He'll die. He pilots the Malevolence. I wonder if he'll invite us over.
Or Darth Vader, which is Vader is his father in German, right?
What does that say about Dooku?
Maybe that's what he's angry.
He stinks.
I think I honestly, like, when I found out that Sidious's name was Sheev Palpatine, I went, no wonder the guy's a Sith Lord. of all the names in the galaxy, and they name him Sheev Palpatine, I would fucking go to the dark side too.
Maybe he just has palpitations.
Like Narcissa Malfoy, like she's gonna get into herself, you know?
Worst
Lucius.
parental move ever.
I know, Lucius Malfoy, which, funny enough, is my ex-husband's, that's a family name in their family.
Well,
Lucius.
what? Oh, that's funny. Oh, wow, that's funny. That's great. Well, likewise, like when they introduced Remus Lupin, I was like, oh, dude's clearly a werewolf.
Werewolf,
And then
right. Worst kept secret. But let's talk about the rebels. Let's talk about the Onderon rebels here, right? So we have this this first rebellion that we see, and ultimately trained by our Jedi team here and Rex, which I found really interesting. This idea of kind of a shadow war, kind of led by Anakin and Ahsoka, more or less.
Which is really great because you end up seeing her continue that legacy on into the novels, and then you see that go forward into what she's even doing in Mandalorian.
Right.
But it's good to see the basis of that here, where she starts to really have to play with like the moral dilemmas of like, when do I get involved? How much do I get involved? And what kind of help do I give?
Well, she basically breaks her orders, right? I mean, when the King of Onderon is about to be, it's not when the King of Onderon is freed by the general, and the general is about to sacrifice himself on behalf of the rebels and his soldiers and the king, and that it's at that moment that Ahsoka decides, screw it, I'm intervening, and kind of breaks rank a little bit. And this is,
and she was ready to do that right before that until the general intervened.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been much uglier if the general had not, right?
Right. But it's not like she made a spur of the moment choice, but then she had time to think about it and then proceed, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's foreshadowing to who she becomes, right? I mean, ultimately she becomes, a tool of the light, or in service of the Force, but doing what is right, but not necessarily what is duty bound, or what is deemed good, just what's right, which
I totally understand. I know, and even while watching this arc, because I don't talk politics on HNG, I pretty much don't reveal my politics at all, but being a Trekkie, obviously I'm pretty progressive. If I feel like if you're a Trekkie and you're not progressive, you're doing something wrong. But I feel like, but I'm also the kind of, I have friends who will be like, if you don't think the same way as I do, just unfriend me now. And while I respect that, I'm the kind of person where I want to have a conversation with people. In fact, Jason Bieber, I don't think he's on tonight, but he said something about Marjorie Taylor Greene on one of my posts, and I said, it was something about transgender, right? And I said, well, if given the chance, I would sit down and talk to her and find out why she thinks the way she does. Maybe there's something that I can say that might get her to think differently. And then today I was having a conversation with my stepfather where he was very much like, I'm colorblind and all lives matter. And I had to explain to him what Black Lives Matter really meant. And that by saying, really that was how he felt, right? Was Black Lives Matter. He just hadn't heard of it in the context that was presented that way. So when I'm watching Ahsoka Tano talk to Lux about, and they're kind of finding this common ground and seeing that each other is not so bad and they do have these weird things in common. I was kind of thinking along those, I don't know, I was identifying with that.
Yeah.
In a way that felt very, even though that episode was from 2013 or so, it felt very relevant to today.
Yeah. Well, and, and this is the thing, I was kind of mentioning before, right? We have that moment where she's just begging Anakin and Kenobi to send troops because they're getting beat down into the cliffs, and they're like, it's up to the council. And then it's like, how can you just leave us to die here? This is screwed up. And they're like, well, then you have to desert them. And she ultimately chooses not to. It's also really interesting at the very end of the last episode, and you have Anakin and Obi-Wan And Obi-Wan says, something to the extent of, I think this experience has taken quite a toll on our. And I also notice he says, our Padawan, like kind of acknowledging it's not your Padawan, she's ours. We both take responsibility, which I thought was kind of interesting because I hadn't noticed that before. But, even she kind of calls out when she's talking to Lux, but at what cost? It's like you once said, many lives get caught between the Republic and the Separatists. But
one of the only like quotes, I don't often like stop and write down quotes, but I did write a quote down. True to form, I did not write who said it. But it kind of like this arc on like a macro and like an individual scale. The line was, disobedience is a demand for change. Yeah.
Oh, that was the starting that's what
it was. It was the beginning. I wrote it down. I was like, oh shit. So disobedience is a demand for change. And that not only feels very appropriate on like a galactic scale for the plot that arc that we watched, but for like the individual characters, for Ahsoka, particularly the place she's in her arc, and also kind of what ties it to current events today.
And of course, what will lead her to ultimately leave the Jedi Order in a couple of seasons. But I'm going to wrap this up for now. This is a good talk. If any of you out there have thoughts, please share with us on the chat or comment on that. And we will get to another arc next week, I think, or actually in 2 weeks, when we'll return to rewatching some of these great story arcs in the Clone Wars. Thanks to our new followers, Knave-esque and Lock1992. Squad reports. Any other questions from the galaxy?
What's the homework for next week? It's reading, right?
It's reading. We're back to the High Republic Book Club. So next week on March 6th, we'll be covering The Light of the Jedi Part 2, which is chapter 19 through 35. And we will be welcoming our next guest, Raymond Montemayor, who is a filmmaker and animator, who will be joining us on the cast next week. And then in 2 weeks, March 13th, we'll come back to the Essential Clone Wars. We'll be covering some of the Mandalore lore. Bleh. and talking about Duchess Satine and Obi-Wan a little bit. That'll be a fun one. We'll get to that.
And huge thank you to Earl. We almost had to cancel tonight, but thanks to Earl, we did not have to.
So thank you tonight for joining us here on the Geekish Network. We're here every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Please follow Geekish Network here on Twitch and subscribe to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link your account and sub to us using Prime Gaming. You should check the schedules. Check the schedules for all the other great shows on here throughout the week. This Monday night, our flagship show, Pan Geekery, will be covering Space Sweepers that's running on Netflix right now, as well as talking about WandaVision Episode 8 on Disney+. And Earl and I will be there for that, along with Jen and Caitlin. Thanks in the flight deck to Mike and Rodney, and our MVP of the night, Earl. Yay! Also, thank you, Digital Click. They specialize in digital marketing, design, social media, advertising. Find them at digitalclick.com. And we are the Pod Squadron. Please check out our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. For podcast subscriptions, you can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at ChinesePirate_ on all platforms.
I am Hot Nerd Girl Tracy at Hot Nerd Girl on Facebook, and I'll be back in 2 days. And at hot underscore girl hot underscore nerd underscore girl on Twitter. I switched them up. I get confused when I switch them up. And Hot Nerd Girl Official on Instagram.
We did it.
Lexi, do you have anything yet?
Do you have them?
No.
So that's a work in progress. But you'll find out more.
I have things, but I don't want to go through like the 3 names that I haven't synced up yet. So it'll be there when you guys get there.
International Woman of Mystery.
Anywhere.
Lexi Lee. Tonight we are rating Jen Zaney. Look for Jen Zaney. We'll be putting that in the chat. All wings return to base. Course laid in and prepared to make the jump to light speed on my mark. Remember, the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.